Hello everyone, Patrick here from the Flight Sim deck. We're in Microsoft Flight Simulator and I want to talk about the drone camera, also known as the showcase mode of the three camera modes. Now I did go into this during the early beta phase of Microsoft Flight Simulator, but now that I've honed the craft a little more and gathered some more knowledge, I want to go into this video again and show you how I film the cinematic videos I do and all of that. Now if you watch my live streams, I try to weekly do a plane spotting stream, and that's what I'm using the whole time is this camera system. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't really plan on using it too much, you're happy with the external mode and you just use it every once in a while, I think the keyboard is fine. But if you're somebody who's a content creator and you make cinematic flights and videos, I 100% recommend you get a controller. Now, an Xbox controller is fine, or a PlayStation controller, whatever you can use. I'm using a Logitech controller, which has it's like a take on a PlayStation controller. As long as it has 2 analog sticks and 2 triggers, you should be good to go. Those are the main controls I use. I use the default control scheme that comes with the simulator. I haven't really changed anything, and it works really well. So to go into it, we'll go up and open the camera, and once you click on Showcase, it's going to put you outside the plane, and that's where you can begin. So before I get into any of these settings, I'm going to talk about the controls themselves. So we're going to start with the analog sticks. For the left stick, that is what's going to move me around and forward. So it's just, it's up moves you forward, back is back, left, right, all of that. And then the right analog stick, that's going to pan around. That's what's going to let you look around, up and down, all around. And when you combine them, you can move, like I'm moving to the left right now, and I'm moving my right analog stick to the right. And you really get the hang of it. It's really, I've been using the keyboard for this type of thing my whole Flight Sim YouTube career, but the controller is really my favorite method now, and it's really expanded the creativity and allowed me to do all kinds of new things. So now to the triggers. The right trigger will raise you up, and the left trigger will bring you down. And you do have a halfway point on these, so we're going to talk about setting the speeds, but once you do set the speed, you do have like a 50% speed if you just go halfway. So if I go halfway with the left stick right now, and then this is the full deflection, it's faster. So you do have a little bit of range in there to go slower. Same thing with the triggers. If I go halfway up with the trigger, it's slow, and then if I push it all the way down, it goes faster. So that's the basic controls of it. A lot of it is a combination of using both. So for instance, if maybe I want to lower the camera but then move to the side and then also pan this way, I can do that. So next, I want to get into the actual settings for this and how you change all that around. Now, Track IR is something I always leave on. I do use Track IR, but even when you're not and that is on, it doesn't affect anything. Now, the drone follow mode will follow the plane as it flies. So if you don't want that to happen, you can just turn that off. Then you have the drone lock mode. If you turn that on, no matter where you pan, it'll kind of stay fixed on the plane. So you can also get some decent cinematic shots that way, as it just locks. No matter how far you go out or how far you turn, the plane is going to be the center focus every time. So next is the drone focus mode, and this is a really cool feature that adds some depth of field. You can either do it automatically or manually by yourself, where you can actually focus it the way you want. But I found the most functionality I get is with the auto, and I like to leave that on. So if you come down to the plane and you have that in the center of your foreground, it's now going to make the plane in focus and everything behind it out of focus, which is how an actual camera would react to this if it's set up that way. And this allows you to really get creative and do some very realistic looking things. I mean, this is really what takes your photos and video to the next level, and sometimes making them hard to decipher whether it's the sim or real life. But I mean, you can really get in here and look at the different parts of the aircraft and get that effect. Now moving on from the drone focus, you have the zoom level, and this I like to always have it at least 60%. Otherwise things kind of have a warped look to them. You can go up to 70 or more. I mean, just having it zoomed in a little more gives it just less of a fisheye warped effect, and I just like that a lot better to have the zoom level there. Now here you have the drone speed. Now if you want to go move fast around the world, make that 100% and you can just get out of there. Now we're using the right trigger to go up, and now the left trigger to go back down. But it lets you explore the world very fast and do whatever you need to do. Now let's say you lose the plane, like, hey, I don't know where to find the plane. You can always just hit the reset position, and that'll bring you right back to your aircraft. Thing is, though, it changes some of the settings to what they were, so you have to change those back. But now if I wanted to do a slow pan around this plane, I could just make the drone speed about 40. That's as low as it'll let you go. And once you have that, this is the full deflection of the stick, and now you have this very smooth panning here that also controls the triggers to go up, down, and left, right, all of that. Then you also have the drone rotation speed, so we can also make that a little slower while we pan, and then we can get these smooth pans around the aircraft. And we can come up. And now moving the stick at an angle. You have full angles, all that. You can move the camera at an angle or whatever you want to do. Just a whole lot of freedom to do that. Now beyond that, this is just turning on the camera drone, and then a fixed camera if you have a few for the external. They change depending on the aircraft you're using. But with that, you know, if you want to simulate walking, I'd say 40 maybe is a little too slow for that. Go to about 120. And like I said, you can control it with the stick. You can go, you know, 50% of that speed. You know, you get the view a little low, and you know, mess with the rotation if you don't like it. Like that's maybe a little bit too slow for looking around as a person. So maybe we'll try 30. I don't like 30 either. We'll go to 40. Let's just get over to this hill. And you can go as slow as you want. But this kind of simulates walking. This is how I would do it if you want to pretend you're a person actually around this airport and looking around at everything. But yeah, that is pretty much everything I can pass on to you about this drone camera. It's just going to take practice. It's not hard to do, but practice and getting creative with however you want to do it. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys found this useful. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments section. I like to read all of them and try to get back to you and help you out and give you any tips or knowledge I can pass on. So, all right, everybody, thanks for watching this video. You take care. See you on the next one.